Think about money for a second. Think about waking up every morning and over the course of 6 months, the money you had in the bank, the money you'd been working hard to save, was now worth half of what you thought it was. Simply because the money dropped in value. Imagine what that would do for your trust in the system. Imagine what that would do for your trust in the thing you were working for. And that was my biggest takeaway here in Argentina. That single word, trust.
It's why we travel to learn, isn't it? Sometimes there are things that have been staring us in the face and we don't recognize what we're actually seeing or what it truly means. Then you experience it in another place, another context, and the full weight hits you. It's why we had to go out into the world to learn these incredible lessons about work. We've been in Argentina now for a few weeks, and for the next few nights, we're in a typical residential neighborhood in Buenos Aires. So all around us, people are getting up to go do their thing. They're getting off to work, they're getting off to school, and I'm here to explore their life. Because like we all do, people are getting up for work to pay today's bills and hopefully put something away for tomorrow. And that's where things get particularly interesting here. Because what does tomorrow hold? And what does this beautiful country have to teach us about work? While in Argentina, I met with a property developer who worked in Buenos Aires. This is what he does. He buys land, divides it into smaller lots, adds essential things like power and water, and then he sells them. And he gives loans to his clients who need a loan. So if people need to borrow to buy the land, they borrow that money from him. In most of the world, this is a pretty good business, being the seller and the banker. In Argentina, though, it's a risky business. Let me explain. This businessman started a project a couple years ago, bought land, split it, added services and sold it. And he financed the deals. Here's the crazy part. 5 months later, carrying all the loans tied to each sale, the Argentinian peso, compared to the US dollar, was worth less than half of what it was when he started the project. Rapid inflation had dropped the value of the peso. It's hard to fathom how difficult that would be for a business. In all of my travels, I've actually never seen anything like it. How money works in Argentina. The cost of money in Argentina. It sounds weird, the cost of money. But to get cash from a bank, the charge for us to take that money out was about 20%. So take out $75 and pay $15 on top of it. It was like there was a tax to access paper money. Now I learned there was a long history as to why that is, but for the moment, put that history aside. Let's just take this cost of money. It started as a travel annoyance, but then I started to think about it from a country perspective. What would it mean if you lived there? If this was every day?
In my humble opinion, to live in Argentina is complicated because the inflation is really huge. To plan in the future is really difficult.
When I started to see the challenge from that perspective, it shifted from being an annoyance to actually becoming one of the foundational work lessons I needed to learn this entire year. That we work to earn money. But can you trust the money you're earning will have the value you expect it to in the future? If the answer is no, it begins to change your opinion about work and savings, about today and tomorrow. During my time in Argentina, I ran into this thinking a lot. People saying, I might as well go get a beer tonight with the leftover money I've got from my paycheck, because who knows what I can buy with it tomorrow. So after hearing that a few times, that message starts to hit home pretty fast. Now here's the deal with work. When we started doing it, there were two primary goals. Number one, cover your needs today. And then number two, put a little away to make tomorrow more secure or a little more comfortable. It's the central drive of work. But what if that little bit you're putting away for tomorrow isn't something you can trust in? What would that do to your thoughts about work? What did it do to my thoughts about work? Well, it reminded me of the system humans have built to allow work to work well. At the core of it all is trust. Does the value you get back for your efforts something you can trust in? You see, oftentimes we think we're working for ourselves or for our family, that the direct impact within our lives is the reason we do our work day in and day out. And it's true. But if we let this lesson in Argentina sink in for a moment, we realize it's not the only reason we work. You see, we're also working for the system around us. We're working to build a way of life that allows trust to build between people, to build within a nation, to build within the world. We're building our lives and we're building trust. In fact, the way work started, way back when, 100,000 years ago or so, the way it began was because two people from two opposing families or two opposing tribes decided to trust one another, that they could trade something one way and trust what they would get back in return. Work was built on trust, and trust is never just about you. In Argentina, that need for trust for me was so clearly understood through this unusual reality around money.
You need to trust in what will come to have your investment secure.
But think even bigger than money. Think about your own experience at work. How does trust break down? How is it breaking down? And what is the impact? It's never positive. We all need to do our part to build trust. We sometimes get fooled to thinking we're working for our own lives. It's not only so. We're working for the system we all play a part in. So my suggestion, if you want to build and maintain long-term success through your work, build trust. And when it breaks down, fight to get it back. And I'll see you next time from China.